let you get there to the red zone, but then when you get in the red zone, they try to turn you over and things like that.
Yeah, and they got some good players too. Their defensive line's pretty good. They're stout guys, upfield pusher kind of guys. They do some things. Coach Muschamp, he's a very defensive-minded man, and he really good at what he does. So they can do some things that can hurt you, but I believe if we can kind of stick to our game plan, we'll have some success. But they're really good at creating turnovers. One thing we haven't been good at, not giving the ball away. So we got to really hold on the ball like we did last weekend. You saw last weekend, hold on the ball what we can do. So I'm pretty excited to see how we can kind of try and punch it in there, like you said, towards the red zone.
As far as change anything? Did they change anything up though when they allow you to get to that 20? What do they do different that makes it so difficult for teams?
Well, I think they're one of those teams that just take pride in not letting you score. It's not so much what they do. Because they do a lot of what other teams do. It's just they take a lot of pride whenever they get in the red zone. They're not going to let you score. You can just see it in their body language on tape. Just what they're all jacked up. You can see them jumping around, excited, having fun. Whenever they get in the red zone, they make a good play. They just take a lot of pride in what they do. As they should.
As far as schematically, is there anything, or is there a big difference you see on film between what they were doing last year and now with Muschamp?
A little bit more 3 down front that they do. They'll sprinkle it in there. They don't do it a lot, but they'll just sprinkle it in there. Not a lot different from their front and everything, but because whenever it really comes down to it, defense is defense. There's only so much you can do, and they don't seem to bring the house a lot. They don't seem to be flying guys around like we saw with the Syracuse or Pittsburgh. So they don't do a lot different than they did last year.
I asked this to Jen yesterday. On the road, you guys seem like a different team. You seem more focused. You play better. At home this year, with the exception of Syracuse, that hasn't been the case. Is there anything you can pinpoint to why you guys just haven't played well at home?
Not sure. We just played good teams at home. NC State came in here, and their record doesn't show it, but they are a very good football team. And I think maybe us beating them may have ruined their season a little bit. But that's not for me to speculate, but that's just kind of from what I see. But we've played some pretty good teams here, and don't get me wrong. You go and you see Troy. Everyone at the start of the season thought the world was coming to an end because we could barely beat Troy. But then you go and look, and I think they've only lost 2 games this year, and they were ranked this past week. So I don't think it's a lack of focus. I don't think that's anything. I think that's farthest from the truth. Is that Coach Sweeney does a really good job of keeping us all focused, and we know that every game's the most important. So I don't really know what it is. If it's just a good teams or whatnot. But I know it's not a lack of focus. I can tell you that.
I have so much fun watching John Pollard the other night. He's so animated, even before the snap.
Yeah.
How do you kind of rein him in yet keep him aggressive all at the same time?
Nah, he's just kind of learning his way. He's a freshman. We all of us give him a hard time because he asks about 2 million questions every day in practice, which is a good thing. You're never going to know the answer if you don't ask the question. But nah, he just goes up there and he does what he's taught, and he's very animated, and he sometimes I have to calm him down and say, Sean, just let me. He tries to do too much, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But sometimes I have to be like, Sean, calm down and let me do what I'm supposed to do. Don't do my job for me, please. And he's going to be a good one. He's just, he's got to learn the ropes, and he's got to learn that he can't make every call. He can't see every single thing the defense is going to do, and that sometimes stuff just happens. And I think once he learns that, he's going to be a little bit better and play a little bit faster.
And not to take anything away from Jake, but what has Sean brought to the offensive line? What difference has he made?
I think he's just stepped in well for Jake. Jake was doing a pretty good job. He played well for the most part, and I feel like they're pretty similar. Sean has a little harder edge. He kind of gets after a little. We're not saying that Jake doesn't, but he's a little bit bigger body, and brings a little more physical presence in. Doesn't quite have the technique that Jake has, but once again, that comes with time. But I mean, he's eager to learn, a lot like Jake is. Eager to learn, loves football, takes his coaching. I mean, and that's why he's been able to play well against really good opponents. I mean, he comes in, I think his second start, he's playing against, the guy who's got the third most sacks in the country against Pitt. I mean, and this number 53 from Wake was a good player. And so he's kind of been thrown into the fire, and he's responded well, and I've been really happy to see how he's responding because, I mean, it even goes back to summer where he's texting me after early morning workouts, going, "Hey man, you want to come in here and watch film?" And I'm like, "No, not really, but I will." Yeah, I mean, it's and that's just the kind of person he is. He's always eager to get better and eager to learn, and I think that's what's going to make him a great player.
Olware said that, I guess as a freshman, he was standing out there for Sandstorm, and he was kind of like, what is happening? And
Yeah.
Liggett was saying he got there and he was hoping the fans were going to get on the bus. He was kind of nervous about that.
Right.
Did you have kind of like a welcome to the rivalry?
No, because I've been a Clemson fan pretty much my entire life, so I mean, I've known about the rivalry and everything, but it's just a lot of people were, whenever you're going through Columbia that first time, a lot of people you notice were calling you number one, even little kids were telling you were number one. So, I mean, I tell you, it's an awesome rivalry, and it's something special. And I mean, yeah, driving around on the buses, seeing all the fans whenever you're there, and then just coming back here is whenever we play here, and just seeing where there's all these. It's just so. It's like you've got your patches of South Carolina. It's because normally the fans kind of intermingle with each other. You see some Pitt tents, whenever they were here, with some Clemson tents. Not whenever the rivalry comes around. It's Clemson. It's like the section of Clemson, and then there's South Carolina. We don't intermingle. We don't like each other, even our fans. So no, it's something pretty fun to look and watch out for whenever you're riding the buses and everything.
I know there's hate and everything, but do you guys kind of ever just sit back and kind of appreciate that you're part of a really good rivalry?
Oh yeah, and I mean, whenever it comes down to it, it's a game, and but once again, the South Carolina is not a team that we want to lose to, and it's one of the best rivalries, and it's something that is special to be a part of, and to be able to talk to other players that come back, or some of our student coaches that have come back to finish their degrees, on how it was in the 90s, in the 80s, and how it hasn't changed. South Carolina still doesn't like Clemson. Clemson still doesn't like South Carolina. And how special that is just something that's really fun to be a part of.
When you were a kid, can you take us back to that?